neutrality is not as neutral as others may actually have you believe. In fact, it actually has a lot of negatives instead of positives. And on December 14th of last year, the FCC, in a 3-2 vote, repealed the Open Internet Order of 2015, also known as Internet neutrality. And Internet neutrality is a term to describe the established rules on Internet service providers, or ISPs, and its limitations on data. And this prevents ISPs from treating data unequally. This means no throttling, no blocking, or no speeding up of data for companies that pay for different speed deliveries to customers. It also prevents the internet from being separated and sold into packages via cable providers, just like cable providers actually. And so the reasons why, as it was repealed, and why you as a consumer and citizen should want it to stay repealed, is because it had a negative effect on the economy and went against prior governmental action to benefit citizens. Which leads me to my first point of how internet neutrality was actually very anti-capitalist. What I mean by that is that it created no competition between internet service providers, or should I say, smaller internet service providers and bigger internet service providers. Because while the competition of smaller internet service providers went down, which means that they basically went out of business, they went bankrupt, whereas the bigger internet service providers such as AT&T and Comcast and Charter flourished. There was more competition between those, and it created a flourish, which meant a less input into the economy. And as stated in George S. Ford's paper, Net Neutrality, Reclassification, and Investment, a Counterfactual Analysis, he states that in the 2015 and 2010, from 2010 to 2015, internet service providers reduced their investments by 30 to 40 billion due to reclassification on open internet. And he also found that there was no decline in investment following the release of the FCC's 4 principles to promoting open internet in 2005, which means that due to this reclassification, it lowered the economy as there was not much being invested into the market of the internet. And not only was it bad for the economy, it also went against other acts created by prior governments, as it went against the Telecommunications Act of 1996. And it mainly went against Title 44, Chapter 5, Subchapter 2, Part 1A4's Congress findings on the Internet, which states that Congress had found the Internet and other interactive computer services have flourished to the benefit of all Americans with a minimum of governmental regulation. And what this means is that it wasn't necessary for the Open Internet Order of 2015, as it didn't as the amount of regulation needed actually wouldn't need to be, because stated in the Part 1B2 of the same title, chapter, and subchapter, it is the policy of the United States to preserve the vibrant and competitive free market that presently exists for the internet and other interactive computer services, unfettered by federal or state regulation. Which means that, again, the Open Internet Order of 2015 was just unnecessary and unneeded, and actually allowed for less growth of the economy, because that meant that with the regulation, the FCC could not actually tax if there was throttling, blocking, and speeding up of data, which again lowered the economy. And if the act stays repealed, then this will allow for taxes and allow for consumers to realize, hey, this internet service provider isn't actually benefiting what I need. It's actually throttling, but it's charging me a lot for internet. So I'm going to switch to a smaller one that provides a lot more for less and won't do these things. And these taxes will make that bigger internet service provider realize that they shouldn't be doing this, because companies don't want to pay taxes for things. And as you can see, net neutrality needed to be repealed, as it imposed unneeded loss on the economy through loss of competition and loss of tax revenue coming in, as well as it enforced unneeded governmental control. And I hope with this information, you will be able to determine the things that you need when deciding whether or not you want a certain act to be repealed, be it governmental or statewide.